King, and with Miller King we have a 6-person law firm where each attorney concentrates and focused in 2 or 3 practice areas. One of the areas that we heavily focus and concentrate in is personal injury, specifically traffic crashes, automobile accidents, or automobile crashes. In the state of Illinois, you have 2 years by which to file a formal claim and have it settled, or to file a formal lawsuit. Many times clients come in very confused and frustrated, injured, hurt, stressed, possible, riddled with anxiety. So hopefully this video sheds a little bit of light on personal injury, specifically on automobile accidents or traffic crashes. One of the most common questions we face is, well, how long does it take before perhaps a settlement is reached with an insurance company? And often I tell clients it can take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years or longer, depending on the facts and circumstances of the case. Another question people ask is, well, what's going to happen with all my medical bills? How are my medical bills going to be paid? Really, there's 3 sources of recovery for that. First is going to be health insurance. We always advocate to turn your matter over to health insurance to see if they're willing to pay, and then they will subrogate or seek reimbursement on the file. Number 2, medical payment coverage, which is known as MedPay. MedPay is generally a form of coverage on a person's automobile insurance policy that allows for payment of medical in the amount of $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, even up to $50,000, depending on your policy, to automatically pay medical bills to the providers, such as the emergency room, if it's a major accident with a helicopter, air evac, or to doctors or physical therapists. Again, that form of payment generally means that there's some type of reimbursement from the settlement proceeds back to your insurance company. And the third form is going to be liability insurance, or underinsured or uninsured insurance. And essentially, liability insurance is the at-fault driver, by Illinois law, is required to carry a state minimum of $25,000, and that is a main source of recovery. If for some reason the other driver doesn't have insurance, we would look back to your insurance called uninsured, or if the at-fault driver had very little coverage, such as a state minimum, we would look back to your insurance company for something called underinsured. Therefore, those are the forms of recovery generally available in a standard automobile accident or a traffic crash. Another question is, how are the attorney's fees paid? Oftentimes when people suffer a major injury, they're not able to pay for their medical bills in an auto accident case. Therefore, we take the cases on a contingency fee. Generally, it's 1/3. And that can give or take a little bit each way, but the industry standard generally is 1/3, meaning if we successfully recover for our client or clients, we take a fee of 1/3. The client's not out any money, the client doesn't have to pay a retainer, as well as the law firm also advances any case costs to ensure that we provide the adequate services, order the correct records, and build up the file, especially if we go into litigation. That means we file a lawsuit. There's a lot of costs associated, such as transcripts, court reporters, filing fees, service fees, experts, etc. Another common question in these personal injury cases is, well, what happens if we can't settle our case? What's the next step? Well, the next step would be to file a lawsuit, and generally these are state court cases where a lawsuit is filed in the county in which the accident or traffic crash occurred. Therefore, a complaint is filed with the court and a summons is issued to serve upon the defendant or defendants. And the cases, again, they can take 1 year to 2 years depending on the type of case, the amount in controversy, that is, what are the damages, what's at stake. And so lawsuits are never the preferable source. Generally, we try to order the file, manage the file, make sure that the client receives all necessary medical care and treatment. And we try to settle the case with the insurance company or companies. If a settlement is not feasible, or the settlement is not in the best interest of our client, then the client and I would have a conversation about what's in his or her best interest. And if filing a lawsuit is necessary, then we prepare everything to file the lawsuit and proceed to litigation. So right after an automobile accident or a traffic crash, the first thing to do is always contact the police. So at the site of the accident, if somebody is able to call the police, please do so. That's what law requires under most circumstances. So you contact the local police or the sheriff department or state police. Once that happens, seek immediate medical care and treatment. if you are injured, seek the necessary and reasonable medical care and treatment that you need. After that, I would recommend contacting your insurance company to notify them that there are property and potentially personal injury claims. And then somewhere along the line, yes, it is important to hire an attorney or at least seek the advice of an attorney depending on the circumstances. Most cases will require the services of an attorney. If it's only property damage, perhaps the person or the individual can resolve that matter with the insurance company. But once medical bills start piling up, once you start receiving letters from insurance companies, we recommend that you at least seek the advice of an attorney. Generally, the consultations are free of charge, and there's no obligation to hire a lawyer. In fact, the client or potential client has full discretion whether to retain counsel or not retain counsel. That is, to hire a lawyer or not hire a lawyer. So if you have a personal injury claim and you're interested in seeking legal advice or you're in need of legal advice, you call our office. For example, our number is 618-462-8405. You call, you'll speak with one of our legal staff members, one of our team members, who will take your initial information, and then preferably we schedule an office appointment. During these uncertain times, as this is being filmed with COVID, we can always video conference, we can talk by phone, we can exchange documents by email. But the initial consultation is the next step to hire an attorney. Again, it's free of charge. There's no obligation to hire the lawyer, and there a lot of information can be exchanged. No two cases are ever the same. Therefore, the client's individual story, background, life circumstances, injuries, medical care and treatment that's reasonably necessary, and all the other factors that go into these claims and cases really do matter. So a personalized one-on-one conversation is always the best. However, we can always do it by video conferencing or by phone conference as well. So to start the process, again, no lawyer should ever solicit the client. So it really is the client's obligation to go online or to go through family friends and find somebody that you think you can trust, meet them, sit down with them, and then begin a dialogue to see whether or not it's going to be the right fit for you as the client. Again, it's your case, not the lawyer's case. So it's important that the client feels comfortable, not only with the lawyer, but the office staff, and the overall process. Yeah, one of the common questions we receive at the very beginning of a case or somewhere during the case is, what is my case worth? What is the value of my case? And that's a really difficult question. First, no lawyer can promise or guarantee a result. Second, each case is unique. Each case is different, and the value of the case is going to be based upon many factors, such as the facts of the case, the liability, the conduct of the defendant. Was it negligent, or was it perhaps willful and wanton, meaning it was more of a reckless disregard for people's safety? What are the damages? Is it lost wages, past and future medical expenses, past and future pain and suffering, past and future loss of a normal life? All of these factors go into the value of a case. Therefore, it does take a sufficient amount of investigation, research, and time to develop the case. And then from there are ranges of what we determine to be fair and reasonable. Of course, the final outcome that I have not mentioned is a jury trial or a judge trial. And if the parties can't settle a case after a lawsuit is filed and litigated to the court system, the end result would be a jury trial. And it's at that point that a jury would decide the merits of the case, including but not limited to the value of the case. So the lawyer's answer is it all depends, but it really does. And you never want anyone to promise you the value of your case until later in the process, when the lawyer and client have developed a relationship, mutual respect, mutual trust, to have that conversation about what is fair and reasonable.